Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My sincerest apologies for the lengthy hiatus, but I was trying to graduate college, commission into the U.S. Army, and remain sane all at once. Yet the world of film sleeps for nobody, and I figured I would reward the endless patience of my viewership with a bit of my own suffering. Before we get going, though, tonight's whiskey is an excellent Glendronach, 12-year Glendronach, I think. It was a much appreciated graduation present. It's a Highland Scotch, like your Macallans and things of that nature. Features softer notes of cinnamon, apple, oak, and earth, but it has this really nice, almost buttery finish. It makes it very unique for me. Really tasty. And then accompanying it is another fresh face from the Oscar Valladares family. It's their Heaven and Hell series. On top of this, I'm not sure if you can see it. Shoot. Come out. There, see it? It's a little pet. On top of that cool little wrapper, it's also it brings some heavy notes of chestnuts, pepper, butter, and cedar. Really easy draw. Big fan of that one. And in the background is some very poorly recorded chess played by me. I don't know what happened with the brightness, but it wasn't great. And I sucked at it because I wasn't in a great mood while playing it, because in an attempt to film this video the first time, I have a little, you can't see it because of where the webcam is, but there's a little fan up there that helps to ventilate the room while I'm smoking a cigar. And my third monitor usually sits right in front of it. And I think my phone slid off my desk and hit the cable that plugs in to the fan, so it pulled it off my windowsill where it normally sits. And I have this little like a little counterweight. It's a little heavy piece of rock that I have on the other side of the fan to keep it from falling over. But I'm telling you, this fan fell so precisely that the counterweight flipped end over end over my monitor, and it would have just fallen into my lap. But the bottle of scotch was sitting in exactly the perfect place, and the counterweight hit the cap of the bottle, flipped back into my monitor, and cracked it right down the middle. Completely ruined. $300 monitor. They don't even make them anymore with those specs. I tell you. So, in any case, I'm not having the greatest night. And on top of it all, I also had to watch Magic fucking Mike, The Last Dance. Much to the chagrin of everyone that has eyes, they made a third Magic Mike movie. And projects like this always make me wonder what the thought process behind them actually looked like, you know? Eureka! I can see some board member saying as they take an extended huff from a bottle of fucking spray paint. For our next movie, we'll give the world's shittiest writer We'll gather the world's shittiest writers in a room. We'll give them a pallet of Adderall and $50 million, and we'll just screen the aftermath. And this part almost chills me to say that the first film in this trilogy introduces Magic Mike, the male stripper stroke business mogul that also wants to do nothing more than be a furniture designer. Such a baffling convergence of elements for a character. But that's the first movie. They introduce him there. And my recollection of the following movie has been largely blocked out for fear of sending my conscious brain into a complete functional meltdown. But needless to say, it was pretty much a televised tour of the shittiest dialogue that mankind is capable of mustering. Now, dragged to it kicking and screaming, we are here. The world may not look great these days, but Magic Mike warms my heart by reminding me that things can always get a little bit worse. Back when I exclusively did these reviews over Instagram, the previous Magic Mike movies tied with each other for my most popular reviews, and I will give the same disclaimer now that I did then. I realize that reviewing this movie at all is kind of like walking into McDonald's and attempting to order the beluga caviar. But, and I am continuing with that same disclaimer, I am, to the best of my knowledge, still straight, so long as Ryan Reynolds keeps his distance, and I have yet to endure my first period, so it is absolutely the case that this film was just not made for me. I will, however, be bullying it anyway, because these last couple of weeks have been stressful, and kicking the shit out of something that deserves it is an intellectual day at the spa for me. So here we go. Here's the setup. Channing Tatum gets his finances decked by a poor business decision and is left bartending and trying to pay back a loan taken from his fellow stripper friends from the previous movies. The primary side character, weirdly played by Salma Hayek of all people. Salma Hayek? Hayek? I never know how to pronounce her name. She plays a wealthy single mother that asks Mike for a dance after being told of his former profession. Upon seeing Tatum aggressively flex his jaw muscles for a few minutes, she proceeds to just cream her designer jeans from gusset to knee, far beyond the help of even the finest dry cleaning. And here begins the Herculean task of deciphering this movie's logic. That's going to be the main theme of today's review. Hayek's character is so taken aback by the quality of Mike's pelvic thrusts that she commissions him to come to London in order to take a highbrow stage play and secretly turn it into a strip show under the nose of, like, the authority of stage plays that exists. And yeah, I'm still chewing on that setup myself. It doesn't really make a lot of sense from the outset. Or, I watched the movie and it still doesn't make a lot of sense. But the characters in this movie are just a baffling litany of unfinished arcs. Salma Hayek, most poignantly, she's clearly going for this sort of strong single mom type energy, but more readily portrays an absolute basket case of a woman. I think the whole thing is summed up in this one particular moment. It's like somebody on the writing team was like asking the characters actually valid questions and they just didn't have answers for them. Like, the Salma Hayek's daughter in the movie, she she has a comment about halfway through the film that effectively says, "Yeah, my mom basically gets these grand ideas that make no cohesive sense, but because she's a little stupid and funded by 15 metric tons of divorce money, she makes them short-lived realities instead of facing her own demons." Does any part of the movie refute this? No. Does she have any introspective epiphanies surrounding how her decisions might impact her and her daughter's life? No. But louder. And my theory is that the movie had ambitions of developing a sort of feminist message of empowerment and sex positivity throughout, because they kind of just outwardly say that's what they're trying to do. Because the play that Magic Mike is trying to direct was like originally thought to have kind of a misogynistic ending. And, you know, I'm all for that if it's done right. That one scene in Lord of the Rings where the rider of the Nazgul claims he can be killed by, that no man can kill him, and Eowyn whips off her helmet and says, "I am no man," and stabs him in the fucking face. Ugh. The hairs on my arms stood up so straight, I thought they were going to salute the goddamn flag. Molly Bloom and Molly's Game tearing the shit out of all these dudes that are like top of their fields because she's smarter. Like some of the finest writing I've ever seen. I love a good, like, strong female whooping everybody's ass story. But Magic Mike missteps in making its characters do everything in the most cloyingly illogical way they possibly can. And then the world around them just takes it in stride. Drives me nuts. I think the producers of this movie would exclusively answer the following seemingly obvious questions with a single answer. The words, well, because it's a movie. Why, for instance, why doesn't Salma Hayek just replace the play she hates so much with one that she doesn't? She's got the money, she's got the venue. Why not just change the play? Because it's a movie. Why doesn't she just use her shitloads of money to put on a separate strip show so that her and her daughter's futures aren't endangered? Because it's a movie. Why does she ignore her ex-husband's perfectly valid point that his mother will sue her ass into oblivion and ruin her financially if she puts on the show they have no real right to do in the first place? Because it's a movie. And here's the big one. Why does the audience that went into this play expecting a Victorian-era classic just accept it when it turns into a balls-out, assless chaps strip show at the epilogue? Like, not one person was demanding their money back and being like, what the fuck? Not one? They were all just like, oh, let's do this. Because movie. You know, maybe that's what really just kills the Magic Mike movies for me. They set up countless opportunities for the characters they have to show a little bit of humanity. And the characters in question ignore those opportunities in order to focus better on sticking crayons up their noses. In short, the audience can't connect with a cast that is unable to walk, talk, and chew gum at the same time. Yeah, a character making mistakes can make them feel more human, but a character making nothing but mistakes, out of raw stupidity, does the opposite. It makes them feel less human, less relatable, when they're just so stupid they can't do anything. So, in summary, 3 out of 10. Didn't quite muster the same degree of anger that the last one did, but a swift kick in the balls is just as unpleasant, even if the kicker is wearing slippers and not soccer cleats. So, yeah. Same rich, creamy flavor of shittiness. But it's alright. I'm glad that I was actually able to get a review out for you guys. I know it's been a long time. I apologize. And unfortunately, I'm going to be moving soon. Because, oh yeah, I'm going to law school. Woohoo! So I don't know when my next video will be. Might be another little while. Probably about a month. But it's okay. We'll be fine. I'm hoping this will tide you over till then. Otherwise, I appreciate you watching, as always. Have a good evening.